Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be ranking every single vehicle from the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC that released back in December. All the vehicles are finally out now with the release of the Karen Boar, except some of them have actually been removed, so technically they're not all out right now, but we have had all of them out at some point. So before we get into this, there is something that you must know. This list is 100% factual and cannot be argued with. Everything that I say is the truth and nothing but the truth, and if you disagree, you are simply wrong. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started with number 17. At number 17, we have the Vapid Taxi, which has been released so that you can actually purchase it in Grand Theft Auto Online and technically own it, although it is through Pegasus, so it's not technically like in a garage. You still can't customize it or anything like that. So overall, the Vapid Taxi is kind of the worst vehicle of them all in my opinion. It also costs $650k to not even be able to do anything to it, which is really lame in my opinion. Overall, I feel like it is the worst vehicle. You can also just get one and drive it by going to the downtown cab company or just by simply calling a taxi and stealing one. So it's not like it's that interesting or that complicated to just get one without having to spend $650k. At number 16, we have the BF Surfer Custom. This is the custom variant of the regular BF Surfer that's been in Grand Theft Auto Online since 2013. It's going to cost you $600,000 and you're going to get some customization, but overall I feel like this vehicle is not really worth owning. It is cool to be able to have like a hippie van with some actual customization and everything, but overall I wish that we got a different vehicle in comparison to the Surfer Custom, because I just feel like overall the community doesn't really love this vehicle too much. I think we definitely would have rather seen something that we really want, like a Trackhawk or, you know, a new Dubsta or various other vehicles. So overall the Surfer Custom, probably the second worst vehicle from the DLC. At number 15, we have the Zirconium Journey 2 coming in at $800,000. The Zirconium Journey 2 basically makes the journey just without looking terrible and adds livery options for $800,000, which is a complete ripoff. Of course, you can upgrade this thing as well. I must say that this is actually faster than the Surfer Custom, so that is why it is ahead of it on the list. And I also feel like the Zirconium Journey 2 is like almost a more interesting vehicle than the Surfer Custom. I could be totally wrong. These are two that are kind of interchangeable. You could rank the Zirconium Journey at number 16 and that'd be fine, and the BF Surfer at number 15 doesn't really matter, but I feel like the Zirconium Journey 2 is ever so slightly better. But with that being said, let's start moving into some of the cars that are actually okay. Starting off at number 14, we have the Classique Broadway coming in at $925,000, one of the cheapest cars from the entire DLC. The Broadway has some decent customization. Overall, it is pretty fast. I think it's a cool looking car as well. It's definitely very unique. And some of the customization options are super unique as well, like the swamp cooler, which is really kind of odd, but really cool at the same time. Overall, the Broadway is a decent car. Okay acceleration, decent enough handling. Not a bad one to pick up. At number 13, we have the Willard Eudora coming in at $1,250,000. The Eudora's got some pretty good customization and it is a very good looking car. The only problem that I really have with the Eudora is this thing does have a super bad oversteer issue. This could be because I have the spare wheel option on this car at the back of it, which makes the back end of the car a little bit heavier. Could be totally wrong, but the Willard Eudora is actually a pretty decent car. I like this thing a lot. It's based off of some old 50s car. I would assume a Chevy or a Cadillac, although I could be wrong. At number 12, we have the Declasse Tahoma Coupe. This goes for $1,500,000, or it was free, I believe, for logging in on a certain date a few months ago, but now it is going to cost you 1.5 mil if you want to get it. It has some decent customization. The performance is also really good for a muscle car. It has decent handling, pretty good acceleration, and an okay top speed as well. I think it's a good looking car. Definitely one that I would say go ahead and pick up. At number 11, we have the Tundra Panther coming in at $2.2 million. Very expensive car. It isn't exactly anything special, although it is kind of cool because it's based off the newer Alpine A110, which is pretty neat. The Panther doesn't have the greatest handling, however the acceleration is pretty good and the top speed is okay as well. It's got some good customization. Overall, it basically, I think, is just a reskin of the Pfister Growler, honestly, but it is still, you know, a decent car nonetheless. Definitely one to look into when it comes back into Grand Theft Auto Online. At number 10, we have the Karen Hot Ring Everon coming in at $1,800,000. This is interesting. It's another hot ring vehicle that you can use alongside of the Declasse Sabre hot ring, which is kind of cool. It doesn't have any customization, but it does have 30 different livery options that you can pick from. It's got okay acceleration, top speed is pretty good as well, Handling is actually better than you would probably expect. Overall, the Karen Hot Ring Everon is not a bad vehicle whatsoever, definitely deserving of the number 10 spot. At number 9, we have the Weenie Issue Rally coming in at $1,800,000. And if you want, this thing does have an HSW upgrade as well that you can put onto it for $650,000. The Weenie Issue Rally, unfortunately, even with the HSW upgrade that you guys are seeing right now, is not that great of a car. It's not that fast. It also doesn't have very good handling, and if it's raining out, this thing is absolutely dreadful. However, it is all-wheel drive, so it is pretty quick in a straight line, especially off the line. But when it comes to racing with the Weenie Issue Rally, this thing is not that good. Even with the HSW upgrade, it's still not even close to the top, 5, I would say, within the sports category. So the Weenie Issue Rally, even with HSW, is just not that great of a car, unfortunately. I felt like it was better than the others, but definitely deserving of 9th place. At number 8, we have the Declassy Tulip M100 coming in at $1,700,000. The Tulip M100 has some decent customization. I've set mine up to look like a dragster. It is pretty quick in a straight line. It's got great customization, like I said. The acceleration is okay. The handling, I would say, is this thing's probably biggest downfall. The top speed is okay as well. Customization's good, but it's really not anything super special, I would say. Pick it up if you guys are interested, but if you don't want to get it, you're not really missing much. Now at number 7, we're starting off with some of the cars that I would actually recommend picking up for sure. At number 7, we have the Karen Boar coming in at just under $1.3 million. This was the last vehicle to be released from the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC, and they almost saved the best for last. This thing is actually pretty decent. Good little off-roader based off of the Subaru Brat in real life. Pretty quick in a straight line. The handling is a little bit iffy off-road, but on-road it is really good. Off-road, unfortunately, this car is just a little bit too light, I think, for its own good. It does kind of get flung around a little bit, which is unfortunate, but regardless, on-road it is still a very good car. The acceleration is alright. The top speed is a little bit on the weak side, but its on-road handling is very good. The Karen Boar is definitely an interesting vehicle, definitely one that I would recommend picking up if you guys haven't got one yet. At number 6, we have the MADISON Sanchez Scout C. It comes free with the Acid Lab. Now the Acid Lab isn't free, but it comes with the Acid Lab, so it technically is kind of free. The MADISON Sanchez Scout C is the delivery bike for the Acid Lab for selling your acid. It's very quick, and my favorite feature about it is when you're wheeling with this thing, you can actually turn pretty well. So I do like that feature. Great acceleration. It does have an infinite wheelie as well. The top speed is pretty decent, and the handling of the bike is great. I love the MADISON Sanchez Scout. It's definitely one that you should try out for sure once you get yourself an Acid Lab in Grand Theft Auto Online. Moving on to number 5, we have the Western Power Surge coming in at $1.6 million. The Western Power Surge is one of the fastest bikes in all of Grand Theft Auto Online, and it is another bike that has a speed glitch when you're going in a straight line. This thing is electric, so it does have good acceleration naturally, but then once you start doing the wheelie, which by the way is pretty much infinite with the Power Surge, you will start to pick up speed pretty quick, and then the speed glitch will kick in, making this thing even faster. And as you guys can see, you can jump the fence at the end of the airport with this thing once you get up to speed. This thing's pretty quick, definitely one that I would recommend looking into. Certainly the best bike from this DLC. At number 4, we have the Annis 300R coming in at $2.1 million. This is one of 2 Imani Tech capable vehicles that were released with the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC. This is based off the new Nissan 400Z in real life, which is a pretty cool car. The Imani Tech is very nice to have with this thing. Unfortunately, it does not have front-mounted machine guns, but it does have an armor upgrade as well as that oil slick proximity mine dropper as well. It can take about 4 RPGs, it's pretty quick, it's got some pretty good customization. Overall, definitely a car that I would recommend picking up if you guys haven't got one already, although you're gonna have to wait for it to be re-released into Grand Theft Auto Online again. At number 3, we have the Overflawed Entity MT with the HSW upgrade. Now, in order to purchase this car, it's going to cost you just under $2.4 million, plus an additional $850K for the HSW upgrade if you have HSW on the platform that you play on. The Entity MT has a pretty high top speed with the HSW upgrade, about 151 miles per hour, I believe it is. It's pretty good acceleration-wise. The handling is also decent, and the top speed is very good, like I said. It's also got some good customization, however, it does suffer from engine resistance, so if you're not playing on a platform that has the HSW upgrade available on it, I wouldn't necessarily super recommend the MT because of the engine resistance. It's just not that fast of a car, the handling is kind of weird, But if you have the HSW available, definitely pick this thing up and put the HSW upgrade on it. That's going to help to negate the engine resistance, which is otherwise going to make the car kind of slow. So anyways, that's it for the NTD-MT. Definitely the third best car from the DLC. At number 2, we have the Ocelot Virtue, coming in at just under $3 million if you want to purchase it. Or of course you can get it for completing all of the first and last dose missions from the Drug Wars DLC. The Virtue is the other Imani Tech capable vehicle from the DLC. It's also electric and it has lightning fast acceleration. Especially off the line, this thing is super fast. Now unfortunately it does have a weaker top speed because it is electric, but as far as the handling goes, it's actually pretty good. Typically electric cars don't handle very well in GTA, but the Ocelot Virtue does not go along with that. It actually handles pretty decently. Overall, it is definitely the second best car from the entire DLC. Certainly one that you guys should look into getting, and if you can get it for free by just completing the missions, you should absolutely do that. And of course the number 1 vehicle from the DLC is the Brigade 6x6, and of course the acid lab that goes inside of the Brigade 6x6 for completing the first dose missions, which is the first half of the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC. Once you've completed those missions, you will steal the Brigade 6x6 and then you can purchase it and turn it into an acid lab for 750k. Then you're going to have to complete 10 Dax Fooligan missions, which are going to pay a decent amount of money each in order to get the equipment upgrade, which is going to make your acid lab a little bit more profitable and produce acid much faster. Once you have the acid lab fully operational, it is one of the best businesses in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. The Brigade 6x6 by itself, even without the acid lab, is also a super fun vehicle. You can bash cars out of the way with this thing super easily, and it's pretty quick as well. The handling is pretty decent for being such a big vehicle as well. And the last great feature of the Brigade 6x6 is that this is one of the most armored vehicles in the entire game. It can take 48 homing missiles from Oppressor Mark IIs, which is pretty insane. Definitely one of the most armored vehicles in the game. If you're going to be running around in free mode, you should be driving around in the Brigade 6x6 for some extra protection if you find it necessary. This thing's super armored, super fun to drive, super fast, everything like that. Definitely make sure you guys have the Brigade 6x6. If you haven't done those missions to get it already, you should definitely be doing them right now. Anyway guys, that is it for my ranking of all of the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let me know what you thought of my list in the comments down below. Of course, feel free to tell me that I am 100% correct, because obviously I am. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't of course. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.